Hey guys, my name is Christian Batuli. Welcome to my YouTube channel. As always, it's a pleasure to be here once again with you guys. I feel blessed to be here, get to see another day. If it happens to be the first time you're coming across this channel, welcome to the family. Glad to have you here. And while you're here, please feel free to check out everything in the channel. There's there's probably gonna be some other videos that you will like from this platform. So I'm just saying, if you want to check it out, go for it. And if you're a return subscriber, you already know how much I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support. Really means a lot. Let's get into it. All right, guys, in today's conversation, I wanted to dedicate this video to people who are perhaps, a little gun shy, meaning to people who are afraid to step out of their comfort zone, to people who are afraid to, put themselves out there, to follow their goals, to chase their dreams, to people who are afraid to start their own business, even though they have the ideas, they have a good product, but for some reason, they are afraid to start a business. Even to people out there who use gathering informations, checking stats, doing research as a way, of covering up, as a way of procrastinating instead of actually getting started and do what they need to do. If I have one thing to say to all those people is that just get started. Just get started. It's simple as that. Now, I understand when you're trying to start something new, for example, when you're trying to run your own business, it's very important for you to do your research, analyze every little thing, pay attention to details. I get that. But when you start to use that as a way to procrastinate instead of actually getting started, then that's when it becomes a problem. You have to get started. Like I've said this plenty of times in my past videos, active participation, active learning, active contribution is always better than passive participation, passive contribution, and passive learning. Meaning, you learn while you are at the job. That's when you learn. You get good at something by doing it. I don't care. You can go out there and read books about how to ride a bike. You're only gonna get good at riding a bike by riding a bike. You can read a bunch of books out there on how to become a great public speaker, but you only become a great public speaker by public speaking. You want to be a great content creator. Guess what? You're not going to become like Mr. Beast by reading about it. You actually have to create content. So we learn on the job. So if you're one of those people who perhaps want to do something, but you're just like afraid, what if this happens? What if it doesn't work out? What if people don't like who cares? Put yourself out there and get started. Because everything you need to know, you're not going to be able to learn it until you go through the process. It's as simple as that. So you have nothing to worry about. I'd much rather be in the game than sit on the bench. I will much rather be that slightly above average in the ocean than to be the top dog in a small league somewhere in a small town. No, I'd rather be out there fighting it out with everybody, you know? So get started. You're going to learn everything you need to learn on the job. And just to be clear, I'm not saying by you getting started, everything's going to be smooth and everything's going to be easy. Nah, it's going to be hard. So expect good times and expect bad times. Like you're going to face rejection, it's probably going to happen. You're going to face criticism, you're going to have doors shut in front of your face, you're going to have people not like your product. You're going to face a lot of disappointment, experience minor setbacks, but that comes with it. That is just life. But you're also going to experience good things as well. But by you going through that, you're getting experience. And experience is everything. By you putting yourself, by you getting started, it's like in a way you're earning your stripe. You're getting your skin in the game. You're learning the in and outs of the business. or whatever that you're doing. Like, it will make you more appreciative of the things that you're doing. If you're starting a business and you got started and you went through the whole thing, you're gaining all those valuable experience. Now imagine when you finally become a success and how much you're going to appreciate, that success. Because the journey, wasn't easy. The journey will make you appreciate it a lot more because you will know how much you had to put in, because when you finally get to that place where, you're reaping, the rewards, the benefits of your hard work, it's amazing. And especially if the things that you do happens to be your passion, if the job that you do happens to be your passion, if the business that you created happens to be, your passion, happens to give you, real meaning, it's amazing. You won't even feel like work, because you're doing something that you love, you're doing something that you're passionate about, something that gives you meaning, something that represents you, something that represents who you want to be. Because I don't care what anybody says, like, if you're doing something that you don't love, like, you're more likely to fail, because not every day you're going to have the motivation to get up, to go chase that dream. Not every day you're going to have the motivation and the mental capacity to deal with handling your business on a daily day basis. Not every day you're going to feel inspired. But when you go through those days, your love for what you do is what will carry you through those times when you don't feel motivated. So it's important to do what makes you happy. It's important to find what gives you a real meaning. So don't do anything just for the sake of it. So if you're going to start something, you're going to put yourself out there, you're going to show people your work, you're going to start a business, make sure those things reflect who you want to be. Make sure those things gives you a proper meaning of what you're trying to accomplish, because in the long run you're going to need it. You do become what you do. And how can you become what you do if you don't like what you do? I don't even know if that makes sense, but hopefully that makes sense. So you have to love what you do. And the thing that I'm going to tell you guys is probably one of the most important things that I've learned, not too long ago, is that in order to become it, you have to first be it. And in order for you to be it, you have to first become it. Meaning, when you're trying to, and this applies in everything in life, I mean, everything. If you're trying to better yourself, if you're trying to, have a successful business, if you're trying to, have a great relationship with your friends, your romantic partner, anything in life, first you have to become it. It's more about becoming than it is about acquiring. So if you want to become a millionaire, first you have to become a millionaire without the money. Like your mindset, how you vibe, how you view things. The money, the foreign cars, the mentions, all those things come as a result of it. But you have to become it. You have to become it. But a lot of people, they tend to focus more on the outcome based system model. So first of all, just to give you guys a little bit of a background, hopefully this will make sense later. But there's three levels or three layers when it comes to behavioral change. The first layer or first step is outcome. What is it that you're trying to accomplish? What is it you're trying to get? The second part is the process, the things that you do, the habits, the task. And the last step, which is the third step, is supposed to be identity. But when you're dealing with outcome based system, the third step is replaced with what you want to achieve, what you're trying to get. So to give you guys an example, let's just say on the third level on my behavioral change, I want to have a six pack. I don't, but I want to have a six pack, right? And then the processes will be the things that I do every day, meaning going to the gym, eating right, avoiding sugar. And then eventually, the outcome will be I'll have six pack, right? Works out. But the problem with this system is the fact that what happens after you get the six pack? What happens after that? You know what I mean? There's nothing else after that. It's kind of like a dead end. That's what happens when, you are focusing more on the outcome instead of focusing on becoming. Like, yeah, you may finally get the six abs that you want, but if you don't have a proper system, if you don't have a true belief to why you want to have that six pack, guess what? After a while, you're going to go back to drinking, you're going to go back to your bad habits, and you're going to lose that six pack. It's just a dead end. But when you look at the identity based system model, same thing applies. First, you have the outcome, right? What is it that you're trying to get? What is it you're hoping to accomplish? Second, you have the habits, the tasks that you do in between in order for you to get the outcome. And then lastly, on the identity part, you have identity, who you want to be, right? What is your passion? What gives you real meaning? You know what I mean? So let's just say I want to become a writer and I'm using the identity system base, right? So on the deepest level, level three, I'm going to put my goal is to become a writer, right? That's the type of person that I want to be, become a good writer. That's what gives me meaning. Not to write a book, not to write two books. My goal is to become a good writer. And then on the process part, I can start asking myself these questions. What does a good writer do? What are some of the things that good writers does? Do they read every single day? Do they take notes? Do they give themselves breaks? Do they get together with mind like people? Right? So it's about becoming. It's not about what you want to achieve or what you want to, you know, get because that's temporary. You'll finish running your half a marathon and then after a while you go back to the same place you started. But with the identity based, instead of you writing down, hey, I want to be able to run a marathon, you'll be able to write down, hey, I want to become a runner. Instead of you writing down on the outcome based, I want to get a six pack, on the identity based, you'll be able to write down on the third level, the deepest level, I want to become a fit person. And then from there, you'll be able to ask yourself, what does fit or people in shape do? How do they eat? So the goal is always to become. The goal is always to become, is not to attract, is not to acquire. So when you finally figure out what you want to do with your life and you're willing to put yourself out there, you're willing to take a risk, you're willing to bet on yourself, just always remember to use the identity based system. Who do you want to become? What gives you meanings? What gives you values? What is in line with your integrity? It's like, in a way, writing your eulogy. I know this is probably not the best example, but how do you want people to remember you? You know what I mean? How do you want people to know of you when you're not here? So that's how the system based, model works. I don't want to just write three songs. No, I want to become a good artist. I don't want to just get a six pack. No, I want to become a fit person. You know, I don't want to just create two or three or four content. No, I want to be a great content creator, right? Because, like I said, what you do is what you become. So you got to always look at it that way. Once again, it's about becoming. It's not about acquiring. Yes, those things will come as a result. Behind every action, behind every preparation, there is a belief. You know what I mean? If there's no belief in anything that you do, then you're simply wasting your time. For example, let's talk about Usain Bolt, arguably the greatest when it comes to track and field, you know, short distance, the greatest. But do you think everything that he was able to achieve would have been possible if he didn't believe, if he didn't have the belief system that he wants to be the best? If Coach Mills, his coach, didn't think that he had what it took to become the best? No, they did believe it and they put it in action. You know, they could have sat there all day long and be like, you know what, Usain Bolt is the fastest. No, they did their research on how to run fast, on how to prepare, but they put it in action. You know, so always remember that behind every action there is a belief. So every action that you're going to do moving forward, just remember you have to have a belief behind it. It's about becoming. I'm going to keep saying it. It's about becoming. It's not about what you get. All right, so a little recap, right? Get started. You can get all the information you want. You can do all the research you want. You can think about it every day, all night, all week, all month, all year, every year. It doesn't matter. Just get started. Second point, you learn on the job. You know, you learn in the job. So, in order for you to become good at something, you have to do it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. All right. Third thing is you have to embrace the journey, you know, and you're only going to be able to embrace the journey if you're able to go through the journey. So don't be afraid to get started. Embrace the journey is going to give you valuable tools that you can later use in your life. So find something that you truly love. Use the identity based system model, right? Who you want to become instead of using the outcome based system model, what you want to achieve, what you want to get. It's about becoming more than it is about getting something. All right, guys. So that's it for me today. Let me know what you think. I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.